Her 6-year-old girl was crying, begging her stepmother to stop, until her father walked into the room and Emily held her little brother Michael against her chest while tears streamed down her face. The 6-year-old girl desperately begged Jessica to stop, but the woman kept throwing the old toys into cardboard boxes without looking back. The situation grew even more tense when Brian entered the room and saw the scene. His daughter was crying while hugging the 1-year-old baby, while his new wife packed up everything that remained of the memories of Catherine, the children's mother who had passed away the previous year. "Jessica, what's happening here?" asked Brian, his voice filled with concern. "I'm tidying up this room once and for all," she replied without stopping her packing. "It's long past time for you all to move on." Emily held Michael tighter in her arms. The baby cried loudly, as if sensing the tension in the air. "Daddy, she's throwing away Mommy's toys," the girl shouted, sobbing. "I promised Mommy I would take care of them." Brian approached slowly, trying to understand what was happening. He had married Jessica just 6 months ago, after 2 years of dating. He thought things were settling between her and the children. "Jessica, can we talk about this?" he said, trying to stay calm. "Talk?" She turned around, her eyes blazing with anger. "It's been a year that I've been trying to build a family with you, Brian. A year, and I'm still treated like a stranger in this house." Emily got up from the floor, still carrying Michael. Her legs trembled, but she stood in front of the boxes. "These toys are mine. Mommy gave them to me before she left." "Your mother isn't coming back, Emily," Jessica exploded. "And holding on to these things won't bring her back." The silence that followed was sharp. Brian stood frozen between the two people he loved most in the world. Michael cried even louder. "Jessica," murmured Brian. "No, Brian. I'm tired. Tired of being compared to a saint every time I try to do something in this house. Tired of seeing you afraid to bring up Catherine's subject in front of me." Emily put Michael in the crib in the corner of the room and ran to the closet, opening a secret drawer only she knew about. "My mommy left this for you," the girl said, handing a yellowed envelope to Jessica. Jessica took the envelope with trembling hands. Inside was a handwritten letter with Catherine's delicate handwriting. "Jessica, if you're reading this, it means Brian has found someone special. You don't know me, but I know you through his eyes. I've seen how he smiles when he talks about you, and that gives me peace. I know you'll be a wonderful mother to my children. Emily is a strong girl, but she still needs a lot of affection. Michael barely knew me, so you'll be the only real mother he'll remember. Take care of them as if they were your own, because now they are. With love, Catherine." Tears began to stream down Jessica's face. She never imagined Brian's first wife had thought of her. She wrote this for me?" she asked, her voice choked. Emily nodded, wiping her nose with the sleeve of her pink blouse. "Mommy said you were a good person. She said Daddy needed someone so he wouldn't be sad." Brian approached the two of them, unable to believe what he was seeing. "Emily, why did you never show me this letter?" "Because you always get sad when you talk about Mommy, and Aunt Jessica also makes a face." Jessica knelt in front of Emily, still holding the letter. "I'm sorry, little one. I didn't know. Mommy said you would take care of us. But you don't like our toys." "It's not that I don't like them," said Jessica, taking a deep breath. "It's that they remind me that I'll never be your real mother." Emily thought for a moment, looking at Michael, who had stopped crying and was now playing with his own feet. "You can be our heart mother. Mama Jess is our tummy mother, but you're our heart mother." Brian felt his eyes fill with tears. He never imagined his 6-year-old daughter could be so wise. "Heart mother," repeated Jessica. "Yeah, because you take care of us now. You make food, give Michael baths, read stories to me. That's what mothers do." Jessica hugged Emily for the first time without the girl resisting. It was a shy hug, but genuine. "So we can keep our tummy mother's toys and buy new toys too, what do you think?" Emily smiled for the first time in weeks. "Can I pick the new toys?" "Of course you can." Brian joined the hug, and the three of them stayed there, amid the boxes scattered across the floor. Michael babbled in his crib as if approving of the scene. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out, now continuing. In the following weeks, the household dynamics began to change. Jessica started including Emily in decisions about the room decoration, and the girl began accepting her stepmother's suggestions. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Emily still had frequent nightmares and would wake up crying in the middle of the night, calling for her mother. Jessica was always the first to reach the room, since Brian was a heavier sleeper. "Aunt Jessica, do you think Mommy can see us?" Emily asked on one of those nights after a particularly difficult nightmare. Jessica sat on the edge of the bed and stroked the girl's blonde hair. "I think so, and I think she's proud of how you're taking care of Michael. But I can't stop dreaming about her. In the dreams she's calling us, but I can't reach her." Jessica felt her heart tighten. She herself had lost her mother as a child, but never had anyone to talk to about it. "You know, Emily, when I was little like you, my mother also went away. And I had similar dreams for a long time. Your mother went away like mine did. She did, and I got really angry with everyone, angry with my father, angry with people who tried to take care of me, even angry with myself." Emily sat up in bed, interested in the story. "And did the dreams stop?" "They stopped when I understood that dreaming about her was her way of still visiting us. In the dreams, she isn't sad. She just wants to know if we're okay. Mommy doesn't seem sad in my dreams. She smiles a lot. Then she's happy to know you're a brave girl who takes care of her little brother and is learning to share her heart with more people." Emily lay down again, more at ease. "Aunt Jessica." "Yes?" "Can you sleep here tonight? That way if I dream about Mommy I can tell you." Jessica smiled and settled into Emily's narrow bed. It was the first time the girl had asked for her company. During the night, Emily had no nightmares. In the morning she woke up cuddling with Jessica, who was still fast asleep. "Daddy!" Emily shouted, running to the kitchen where Brian was making breakfast. "Aunt Jessica slept with me, and I didn't have any nightmares." Brian smiled, feeling that things were finally falling into place. "That's great, Princess, and Michael? He's still sleeping. He likes when Aunt Jessica sings to him." At that moment, Jessica appeared in the kitchen with messy hair and still in her pajamas, carrying Michael in her arms. "Someone woke up hungry," she said, kissing the baby's head. "I'll help make the bottle," said Emily, climbing onto a chair to reach the counter. Brian watched the scene, moved. For the first time since Catherine left, he felt like he had a complete family again. But the peace didn't last long. One Saturday afternoon, the doorbell rang. Brian went to answer it and found Mrs. Margaret, Catherine's mother. "Hi, Brian. May I come in?" "Of course, Mrs. Margaret." "The kids will be happy to see you." Mrs. Margaret entered the living room and found Jessica playing on the floor with Emily and Michael. The scene visibly bothered her. "Emily, come here to Grandma," she called, completely ignoring Jessica. Emily ran to hug her grandmother, but soon returned to Jessica's side. "Grandma, this is my heart mom, Aunt Jessica." Mrs. Margaret's face tightened. "Heart mom? Emily, you only have one mother, and it's not this woman." The atmosphere in the room immediately became tense. Brian tried to intervene. "Mrs. Margaret, the children need to remember who their mother is, Brian. Catherine doesn't deserve to be forgotten so quickly." "No one is forgetting Catherine," said Jessica, keeping calm. "It doesn't seem that way. Emily, come here. Grandma brought photos of your real mother." Emily looked confused between her grandmother and Jessica. She didn't understand why the two couldn't like each other. Grandma Aunt Jessica didn't erase Mommy. She even put Mommy's photo on the fridge. Photos on the fridge. My daughter's photo should be in a special place, not among advertising magnets. Brian was getting annoyed with his mother-in-law's attitude. "Mrs. Margaret, I think we'd better talk in private." "No, Brian, Emily needs to hear this. My granddaughter can't forget where she came from." Emily started to cry, confused by all the tension. "I didn't forget Mommy. I have her letter. I have her toys. I have the photos." "And you'll keep having them," said Jessica, kneeling in front of the girl. "Your grandmother is right. Your mother deserves a special place." Mrs. Margaret was surprised by Jessica's response. "What are you trying to say?" "I'm saying that maybe we should make a special corner for Catherine here at home, a place where Emily can talk to her whenever she wants." Emily stopped crying, interested in the idea. What do you mean, Aunt Jessica? We can take that empty shelf in the living room and make a mommy corner, with the most beautiful photos, her favorite toys, and even some things she liked. Brian was surprised by Jessica's proposal. He himself had never thought of something like that. You would do that? Asked Mrs. Margaret, suspicious. I would. Emily needs to have a place to remember her mother, and I need to understand that I'm not here to replace anyone, but to add. And can we have flowers too? Mommy liked flowers, said Emily, excited. Of course we can. What kind of flowers did she like? Sunflowers. She said they were cheerful like the sun. Mrs. Margaret sat on the couch, visibly moved by Jessica's attitude. Catherine used to talk about you, you know. Jessica stopped arranging Michael's toys and looked at the lady. She did? In her last months here with us, she wouldn't stop saying that Brian had found a special person. She said you were caring and that you liked children. Did she ever meet me? Not in person, but she knew all about you. Brian talked about you so much that she joked that she already felt like you were friends. Emily tugged on Jessica's shirt. Aunt Jessica, does that mean Mommy already liked you before you even met? Jessica smiled, her eyes shining. I guess so, little one. Mrs. Margaret got up from the couch and approached Jessica. I'm sorry. I was afraid that Emily would forget my daughter. She will never forget, and I will do everything I can to make sure that doesn't happen. The two women hugged, and Emily clapped, happy to see that her grandmother and her heart mom were getting along. Now can we make the mommy corner? Asked the girl. Of course we can, said Brian, joining the group. Let's all do it together. That afternoon, the whole family dedicated themselves to creating Catherine's special corner. Mrs. Margaret brought photos that Emily had never seen. Jessica contributed a vase of fresh sunflowers, and Brian put on the CD with his late wife's favorite songs. Emily carefully chose which toys and objects would go in the corner, explaining to Jessica the story behind each one. This doll here was given to me by Mama on my 5th birthday, and this little bear she sewed from the blanket I used when I was a baby. She used to sew. She sewed very well. Michael has a little blanket she made for him too. Jessica gently touched the doll, imagining Catherine choosing that gift for her daughter. Your mother had very good taste. Yes, she did. Daddy always said she was the most beautiful person in the world. Brian overheard the comment and approached the two. And she still is, but now we have two beautiful people in our family. Emily smiled and hugged her father and Jessica at the same time. Can I ask you a question, Aunt Jessica? Of course. Do you get sad when I talk about Mama? Jessica thought about the answer for a moment. At first I did, but now I understand that talking about her is a way of keeping her alive in our hearts. And you're not jealous of her? The question took Jessica by surprise. It was a very mature question for a 6-year-old. You know, Emily, I found out you can't be jealous of someone who only brought good things into our lives. Your mother gave me you, gave me Michael, and gave me your father. How could I be jealous of that? Emily thought about the answer and seemed satisfied. So you like my mama? Yes, I do, and I think she and I would be friends if she were still here. I'm sure you would be, said Mrs. Margaret, who was listening to the conversation. Catherine always said she wanted you to meet. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now, continuing. The following months brought a more harmonious routine for the family. Emily had stopped having nightmares and started calling Jessica Mama Jess, a sweet nickname she made up herself. Michael was growing and starting to say his first words. To everyone's joy, his first clear word was Mama, said while reaching his little arms out to Jessica. He called me Mama, shouted Jessica, emotional, picking up the baby. You are his Mama, said Emily proudly. He doesn't even remember the Mama from the belly. Brian watched the scene from the kitchen door, his heart full. He had finally managed to form the family he had always dreamed of. But the peace was interrupted by an unexpected phone call. It was Michelle, Catherine's sister, who lived in New York. Brian, I need to tell you something important. I found some of Catherine's documents here at home. What kind of documents? A will, and there are things you need to know. Brian felt his heart race. Catherine had never mentioned a will. Can you tell me over the phone? It's better if we talk in person. Can I come there this weekend? Of course, but is everything okay? Is it something serious? It's about the children, Brian, and about the inheritance she left. Brian hung up the phone, worried. What inheritance? Catherine never had much money, and all her assets were already in his name, or the children's. Jessica noticed his expression. Did something happen? Michelle is coming this weekend. She found a will from Catherine. A will? But didn't you sort all that out back then? I thought so. But apparently there are things I didn't know. Emily appeared in the kitchen, looking for a glass of water. Who's coming this weekend? Aunt Michelle, replied Brian. Mama's sister? That's great. It's been a while since she's been here. Emily was very fond of her aunt, who always brought gifts and told stories about her mother when she was a child. On Saturday morning, Michelle arrived with a folder full of papers. She was a 40-year-old woman who resembled Catherine, but had a more serious personality. Hi, Emily. You've grown so much, she said, hugging her niece. Aunt Michelle, you're going to meet my mama Jess. Michelle looked at Jessica with curiosity. Mama Jess? That's what she calls me, Jessica explained, extending her hand. Nice to meet you. The pleasure is mine. Catherine talked a lot about you. Talked? Yes. In our last conversations, she kept saying you were perfect for Brian and the kids. Emily tugged her aunt's hand. Aunt Michelle, come see the little corner we made for Mama. Michelle was moved when she saw the altar they had set up for her sister. How beautiful, Emily. Your mother would have loved it. Mama Jess came up with the idea, and Grandma Margaret helped too. It's good that you're getting along well, Michelle said, looking meaningfully at Jessica. After lunch, when the children were sleeping, Michelle opened the folder and spread the papers on the table. Brian, Catherine left something for the kids that you didn't know about. What? A house. The house where our grandmother lived, in the countryside of Pennsylvania. She inherited it when Grandma died, but never told anyone because she wanted to save it as a surprise for Emily and Michael when they grew up. Brian was surprised. Catherine had never mentioned that inheritance. But why didn't she tell me? Because the house needed repairs, and she wanted to fix it up before saying anything, but then she got sick and didn't have time. Jessica listened quietly, not quite understanding what the issue was. And what's the problem? She asked. The problem is that in the will, Catherine left specific instructions about the house. She wants Emily to spend her school vacations there, to get to know the family roots. That sounds like a good thing, said Brian. Yes, but there's a condition. Emily can only go if she's accompanied by a maternal figure. In the will, Catherine wrote that she hoped Brian would find someone special to be that maternal figure. Brian and Jessica exchanged glances. She meant that Emily can only take possession of her inheritance if you, Jessica, agree to be the girl's legal maternal guardian. Jessica felt her legs go weak. It was a huge responsibility. But I'm not even officially married to Brian yet. You don't need to be married. You just need to sign the papers taking responsibility for Emily's education and well-being. Brian took Jessica's hand. You don't have to decide right now. It's a very important decision. Actually, said Michelle, there's one more thing. The house comes with a monthly income. The land is rented to a farmer, and the money would be for the children's education. How much money? Asked Brian. 3,000 Rs a month. Enough to pay for a good private school for both of them. Jessica fell silent, processing everything. Catherine had thought of everything, even the children's education. Can I think about it? Of course. But the process needs to be completed by Emily's birthday in December. Otherwise, the inheritance goes into an education fund, and the kids won't have access until they're 21. That night, Jessica couldn't sleep. Becoming legally responsible for Emily was a huge step in her relationship with Brian. Are you worried? Asked Brian, noticing she was awake. I am. It's a lot of responsibility, Brian. What if I can't be a good mother to her? You're already a good mother to her. Emily adores you. But what if in the future she decides she doesn't want me anymore? What if she wants to live with her grandmother? That won't happen. You can't be sure. Adolescence is complicated, and she'll grow up remembering Catherine, comparing us. Brian turned to look Jessica in the eyes. Jessica, do you want to be Emily's mother? The question was simple, but the answer was complex. I do, but I'm scared. Scared of what? Scared I won't measure up to Catherine. Scared I'll ruin her life. Scared you'll regret marrying me. Brian hugged Jessica tighter. Listen, when Catherine was leaving, she made me promise one thing, that I'd find someone who loved the children as much as she did. And you do love them, Jessica. I see it every day. How can you be so sure? Because you get up in the middle of the night when Michael cries, because you help Emily with her homework, because you cook the foods they like, because you worry when they're sick. That's a mother's love. The next morning, Emily appeared in her parents' bedroom, as she always did on weekends. Mama Jess, are you going to sign Aunt Michelle's papers? Did you hear our conversation yesterday? I did. Sorry, but I'd gone downstairs to get water and you were talking loud. Brian sat Emily on the bed between him and Jessica. What do you think about this, Princess? I want Mama Jess to sign. Then she'll be my real mother on paper too. But do you understand this means I'll have to make important decisions about your life, about school, about doctors, about everything? Emily thought for a moment. Don't you already do that? Jessica smiled. The girl was right. She already took care of Emily, as if she were her own daughter. And about your great-grandmother's house. Do you want to see it? Yes. Aunt Michelle said there's an orchard and a creek, and that Mom played there when she was little. Then let's go see it together. Does that mean you'll sign? Jessica looked at Brian, who smiled encouragingly. It means yes. I'll be your legal mother too. Emily jumped on the bed, shouting with joy, and woke Michael in the next room. Michael, Mama Jess is going to be our real mother. Michael appeared in the bedroom doorway, still sleepy, walking on his wobbly one-year-old legs. Mama, he said, stretching his arms toward Jessica. Come here, my love, she said, picking up the baby. At that moment, Michelle appeared in the doorway. May I interrupt? I brought something I forgot to show yesterday. Of course, come in, said Brian. Michelle showed an old photo album. This album has pictures of Catherine as a child at the great-grandmother's house. I thought Emily would like to see it. Emily flipped through the album, fascinated to see her mother at her age. Look, Mama Jess, Mom looked just like me. Jessica looked at the photos and was truly impressed by the resemblance. She was beautiful, and you look just like her. Aunt Michelle said the house has the same trees that are in the pictures. Can I climb them? We'll see when we get there, said Jessica, already thinking of the child as her responsibility. Michelle smiled, seeing how naturally Jessica assumed the maternal role. Catherine chose well, she murmured to Brian. On Monday, Jessica and Brian went to the notary's office to sign the inheritance papers. It was a solemn and emotional moment. Are you sure? Asked the clerk. This is a responsibility that can only be undone by court decision. I'm sure, replied Jessica, signing the documents. Brian signed as witness and father of the children. When they left the notary's office, Jessica was officially the legal guardian of Emily and Michael. How do you feel? Asked Brian in the car. I feel like I just gained 2 children at once. Because that's exactly what happened. That afternoon, when they picked up Emily from school, the teacher asked to speak with them. Emily told me she has a new legal mother. She was very happy. That's true, confirmed Jessica. That's good. In recent weeks, she's been much calmer and more focused. Her behavior has improved a lot. Was she having behavior problems? Asked Brian, concerned. Not serious problems. But she was very anxious, especially when other kids talked about their mothers. Now she talks about Mama Jess with great pride. Emily ran out of the room when she saw her parents. Mama Jess, Daddy, I told everyone that you're my real mom now. And what did your friends think? They thought it was cool. Sarah said she wanted to have 2 moms too. On the way home, Emily wouldn't stop talking about her great-grandmother's house. When are we going to see the house, Mama Jess? How about next school break in July? Is it a long time from now? 3 months, but it'll go by fast. And can Michael come too? Of course he can. We're a family. When they got home, they found Mrs. Margaret waiting at the door. "Hi, Mrs. Margaret," greeted Brian. "Did something happen?" "No, nothing major. I just wanted to talk with you about something." They entered the house and sat in the living room. Michael was playing on the rug, and Emily went straight to her mother's corner, as she did every day after school. "Brian, I heard from the neighbors that you went to the courthouse today. Yes, Jessica is now legally responsible for the children." Mrs. Margaret stayed silent for a moment. "And how do you feel about that, Jessica?" "Honored and a little nervous," Jessica answered honestly. "Nervous, why?" "Because it's a big responsibility, and because I want to do everything right." Mrs. Margaret nodded as if evaluating the answer. "Can I ask you a personal question?" "Of course." "Do you plan to have children of your own?" The question took everyone by surprise. Brian and Jessica had never seriously talked about it. "I don't know. For now, I'm focused on the ones I already have." "But what if you want to? How will that affect Emily and Michael's situation?" Emily lifted her head from her mother's corner, clearly paying attention to the conversation. "Mrs. Margaret," said Brian, "that's our decision as a couple." "I know, Brian, but Emily is my granddaughter, and I worry about her future." Jessica took a deep breath before answering. "Mrs. Margaret, I can guarantee one thing. Emily and Michael will always be priorities in my life, whether or not they have siblings in the future." "How can you be sure of that?" "Because when you truly love someone, you don't love them less for loving more people. Love multiplies, it doesn't divide." Emily approached Jessica and climbed onto her lap. "Mama Jess, if you have a baby, will you like us less?" "Never, Emily. You and Michael are my children forever." "Then I want a little brother or sister." Brian laughed at his daughter's spontaneity. "Easy, princess. These things aren't decided like that. But it would be cool. Michael would like having someone his age to play with." Mrs. Margaret observed the interaction and seemed more at ease. "Jessica, can I ask you a favor?" "Of course." "If you decide to have other children, promise you'll bring Emily to tell me first. I want her to know she can talk to me about anything." "I promise." "And promise you'll teach the other children about Catherine, so Emily doesn't feel alone in remembering her mother." "I promise that too." Mrs. Margaret hugged Jessica for the first time since they'd met. "Thank you. Now I know my granddaughter is in good hands." That night, after the children went to sleep, Brian and Jessica talked about Mrs. Margaret's question. "Do you want to have children with me?" asked Brian. "I do, but not now. I want to first establish myself well as Emily and Michael's mother." "That makes sense. And do you think they'd accept a sibling well?" "I think so. Emily has already shown interest, and Michael is still too young to understand." "And you? How would you feel being a mother to a baby when you're already a mother to 2 children?" "I think it would be a completely different experience. With Emily and Michael, I came into their lives when they already had formed personalities. With a baby, I'd be a mother from day one." "Are you afraid of something?" "I'm afraid Emily might get jealous, that she'll think I'll love her less because the other baby came from me." "And how can we prevent that?" "By always talking to her, making it clear that being a biological mother isn't more important than being a mother at heart." "Do you really believe that?" "I do. Look at how you love Emily and Michael. They're not your biological children, but you don't love them any less for that." Brian stopped stroking Jessica's hair. "What do you mean they're not my biological children?" Jessica realized what she had said. "Brian, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Jessica, Emily, and Michael are my biological children. I am their father." "I know, I meant... Oh, I got confused, sorry." Brian sat on the bed, confused. "What are you talking about?" Jessica realized she had made a terrible mistake. "Brian, I thought you knew. Michelle mentioned something, and I thought..." "Michelle mentioned what?" "That Catherine, that she had told you about the children's biological father." Brian's world collapsed at that moment. For a few seconds he couldn't process what he was hearing. "Who is their biological father?" "Brian, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said anything. I thought you knew." "Who is their father?" shouted Brian, waking the children. Emily appeared at the bedroom door, frightened. "Daddy, why are you shouting?" Brian looked at his daughter, not knowing what to say. She had always been his daughter since she was born. How could she not be his biological daughter? "Go back to your room, Princess. Daddy and Mama Jess are talking." "But are you fighting?" "No, sweetheart. Go back to sleep," said Jessica, trying to stay calm. After Emily left, Brian turned to Jessica. "Tell me everything, now." Jessica took a deep breath, knowing that conversation would change everything. "Michelle told me that Catherine had a relationship before you got married, and that she got pregnant but the man disappeared. And she never told me that. Apparently she told you she was pregnant but said the baby was yours. And you believe that?" "Brian, I don't know what to believe. I'm just repeating what Michelle told me." Brian got up from the bed and started pacing back and forth. "That doesn't make sense. Emily was born 8 months after our wedding. The timeline adds up. Michelle said Catherine moved up the wedding date when she found out she was pregnant. And Michael? Michael, apparently, is actually your biological son." Brian sat on the edge of the bed, his head in his hands. "Why would Catherine lie to me? Maybe she was afraid of losing you. Maybe she loved you so much she didn't want to risk it. But that doesn't justify a 6-year lie." Emily appeared at the door again, this time crying. "Daddy, you're not my real dad." Brian felt his heart stop. The girl had overheard the conversation. "Emily, I heard everything," she shouted, running to Jessica's lap. "You're not my real dad?" Brian knelt in front of Emily and Jessica. "Emily, look at me. I am your dad. I always have been and always will be, no matter what else happens. But you and Mum were talking about another man. Sometimes adults find out things they didn't know before, but that doesn't change the love I feel for you. Will you still live with us?" "Of course I will. This is my home and you are my family." Jessica hugged Emily tighter, feeling guilty for causing that situation. "Emily, forgive me. I shouldn't have talked about this in front of you." "Mama Jess, will you still be my legal mother?" "Always, that will never change." "And will Daddy still be my dad?" "Always," answered Brian, picking up his daughter in his arms. "You'll always be my princess." Michael started crying in the next room, awakened by all the commotion. "I'll get him," said Jessica, standing up. "No. Let me go," said Brian. "I need some alone time with him." Brian went to Michael's room and picked up the baby. Looking at that little face that looked so much like his, he was certain that Michael was truly his biological son. "At least you're really mine, right, champ?" he murmured with tears in his eyes. But then he realized what he had thought. Emily was as much his daughter as Michael, regardless of biology. When he returned to the room, he found Jessica comforting Emily. "Can I talk to you both?" They sat on the bed, the 4 of them together, and Brian took a deep breath. "Emily, I'm going to tell you something very important. When you were born, I was in the hospital waiting room, and when the doctors said you had arrived, I ran to see you. I know, Daddy, you always tell me that story, and do you remember the part where I say that when I held you for the first time, I knew you were my daughter? I remember. Well then, that feeling is still the same today. You're my daughter because I choose to be your father every day, even knowing another man made me in Mommy's tummy." Emily's simple and direct question made Brian realize she had understood the situation better than he imagined. Even knowing that, because being a father isn't about who made you, it's about who loves you, takes care of you, teaches you, and is always here for you. Just like Mama Jess. She didn't make me in her tummy, but she's my heart mother. Exactly the same. Emily thought for a moment and then smiled. "So I have 2 biological parents and 2 heart parents. That makes me special, doesn't it?" Brian laughed through his tears. "It makes you very special." "And Michael has you as a big sister, and that already makes him special too." That night no one managed to get much sleep. In the morning, Brian called Michelle. "Michelle, I need you to tell me everything you know." "Brian, I didn't want you to find out this way, but now that I have, I want to know the whole truth." Michelle sighed on the other end of the line. "Emily's biological father's name is Christopher. He was Catherine's co-worker. They dated for a few months. But when she got pregnant, he said he wasn't ready to be a father and disappeared. And she never had contact with him again? Never. And she never wanted Emily to know. She said you were her father in the truest sense of the word. But why didn't she tell me the truth when we got married? Because she loved you and was afraid of losing you. And because she truly believed you would be a better father to Emily than Christopher ever could be. And you agree with her lie? Brian, look how much Emily loves you. Look how connected you are. Catherine was right. Biology doesn't make family, love does. After hanging up, Brian kept thinking about Michelle's words. It was true that he and Emily had always had a special bond. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out, now continuing. In the following weeks, the family tried to return to normal, but the discovery had changed something in their dynamic. Brian watched Emily with different eyes, looking for physical traits that might indicate her true paternity. "You're different with me," said Emily one afternoon while they were doing homework together. "What do you mean, Princess? You keep looking at me like you're searching for something in my face." Brian realized she was right. "I'm sorry, Emily. Daddy has been thinking about a lot of things lately. Are you thinking about my other father?" "A little. Do you want to meet him?" The question caught Brian by surprise. "Why do you think that?" "Because sometimes I get curious about him. What he's like, if he's handsome, if he likes ice cream like I do." Brian stopped helping with the homework and focused on his daughter. "Do you want to meet him?" Emily thought carefully before answering. "A little, but not for him to be my dad. Just to know what he's like." "And how would you feel if he didn't want to meet you?" "Sad, but not too much because I already have you." That night, Brian talked with Jessica about the conversation with Emily. "I think we should look for this Christopher," he said. "Are you sure?" "Emily has the right to know about her origins, and I need to look this man in the eye and understand why he abandoned my daughter." "Your daughter?" repeated Jessica, smiling. "I like it when you talk like that." "She is my daughter, and she always will be." Brian asked Michelle for help to find Christopher. It wasn't hard, since he still worked at the same company where he met Catherine. "He's still there," informed Michelle. "And he's single, never married or had other children." "Do you think he knows Emily exists?" "I think so. The company is small, and everyone knew when Catherine got pregnant." Brian decided to go to the company to talk with Christopher personally. It was a small metalworking shop on the south side of New York. "I'm looking for Christopher Johnson," Brian said to the receptionist. "He's in the welding department. I'll call him." A few minutes later, a man around 40 years old appeared, tall, dark-haired, with some features that reminded him of Emily. "Did you call for me?" "I'm Brian, Catherine Smith's husband." Christopher's face changed immediately. "Catherine? How is she?" "Catherine passed away a year and a half ago." Christopher leaned against the wall, visibly shaken. "She... How?" "It was an illness. But I didn't come here to talk about her. I came to talk about Emily. The girl, how is she?" "She's fine. She's 6 years old, smart, affectionate, and calls me Dad." Christopher lowered his head. "I know. I should have looked for them." "Why didn't you?" "Because I'm a coward. When Catherine told me she was pregnant, I panicked. I had no money, no stability, didn't know how to be a father." "And now? Do you still feel that way?" "Now I regret it every day. But too much time has passed. The girl probably doesn't even know I exist." "She does, and she wants to meet you." Christopher raised his head, surprised. "She does?" "She does. But not as a father. She already has a father. She just wants to meet out of curiosity." "And you? Would you allow it?" Brian thought about the question. "I would, but with conditions." "What conditions?" "First, you will never try to take her from me. Second, if you decide to meet her, you'll have to take on a permanent role in her life, even if it's small. No showing up once and disappearing again. And the third condition? You have to understand that she has a new mother who loves her very much, and that our family is sacred. Christopher nodded. I would like to meet her, even if it's just to apologize for abandoning her. She doesn't need your apologies. She needs to know she exists and has value. Can you arrange a meeting? I can, but it will be supervised by me and my wife, and it will be at our pace, not yours. 2 days later, Brian talked with Emily about the possibility of meeting Christopher. He wants to meet me? She asked, excited. He does, but you have to understand that he's not your dad. He's just the man who helped Mama make you. I understand. Like the blood donors who help sick people but aren't their family. Brian smiled at his daughter's simple but accurate comparison. Exactly like that. And is he handsome? He's tall and dark-haired, and he has eyes similar to yours. That's cool. Can I bring a photo of us to show him? You can. The following Saturday, they arranged to meet at a park near home. Christopher arrived nervous, carrying a small gift. Emily, this is Christopher, said Brian. Christopher, this is my daughter, Emily. Emily extended her hand politely as Jessica had taught her. Hi, Uncle Christopher. Daddy said you knew my birth mom from the womb. I did. She was very special. I know. Look, I brought a family photo for you to see. Emily showed a picture of herself with Brian, Jessica, and Michael. This is my heart mom, Jessica, and this is my little brother, Michael. He's Daddy's biological son. Christopher smiled at the girl's innocence. What a beautiful family. And this here is me in the corner we made at home for my birth mom. Christopher was moved to see that Catherine was remembered fondly by the family. Emily, can I ask you a question? Sure. Are you happy? Very. I have the best daddy in the world, the best heart mom in the world, and the cutest little brother in the world. And what do you like to do? I like playing with dolls, drawing, helping take care of Michael, and listening to stories about my birth mom. They talked for an hour. Christopher realized Emily was a happy and well-adjusted child, without emotional needs. Emily, I brought a gift for you, he said, handing over a small box. Inside was a bracelet with a heart-shaped pendant. How pretty, thank you, Uncle Christopher. You're welcome, and Emily, I wanted to apologize. Apologize for what? For not taking care of you when you were a baby. Emily thought about her answer. It's okay. You didn't know how to care for a baby. Daddy didn't know at first either, but my birth mom taught him. And do you forgive me? I forgive you. But are you going to learn how to care for children now? I'll try. Then you can come visit us sometimes, if Daddy allows it. Brian was touched by his daughter's generosity. We can think about that, he said. As they were leaving, Christopher pulled Brian aside. Thank you. Thank you for raising her with so much love. Don't thank me. She gave me much more than I gave her. Can I see her from time to time? Yes, but always supervised, and always respecting that I am her father. Of course. And Brian, Catherine chose well. You're the father I never could have been. On the way home, Emily asked, Daddy, why was Uncle Christopher crying when we left? Because he realized he missed out on many good things because of fear. What things? He missed you growing up. He missed your first steps, your first words, your first drawings. But now he can see my new drawings, right? Yes, he can. Then he didn't miss everything. Brian smiled. Emily's wisdom always surprised him. When they got home, Jessica was eager to know how the meeting went. So, how was it? It was good, replied Emily. Uncle Christopher is nice, and he gave me a bracelet. That's great. Did you like him? I did, but I like Daddy more. Why? Because Daddy really knows me. He knows I like strawberries, that I'm afraid of thunder, and that I sleep better when someone sings to me. Brian picked Emily up. And you'll always be my favorite princess. Even if you and Mama Jess have other babies. Even then. Because you're the one who taught me how to be a father. That night, after the children were asleep, Brian and Jessica talked about the next steps. Do you think it was right to let her meet Christopher? Asked Jessica. I do. Emily has the right to know about her origins, and now she knows she wasn't abandoned due to a lack of love, but because of his immaturity. And you? How do you feel after meeting him? Relieved. I saw that he's not a threat to our family, and I saw that Emily loves me as her father, regardless of biology. She loves you because you deserve to be loved. You're a wonderful father. And you're a wonderful mother. It doesn't matter if she's a biological mother or a mother at heart. A month later, Christopher began visiting the family regularly on Sundays. He brought small gifts for Emily and Michael, but always respected Brian's role as father. "Uncle Christopher, do you want to see my room?" asked Emily on one of these Sundays. "Yes, I do." Emily took him to the room and showed him the mother's corner. "This is the belly mommy's corner. Mama Jess had the idea to make it." "How beautiful, Emily." "Do you want to see the letter the belly mommy left for Mama Jess?" Christopher read Catherine's letter with tears in his eyes. "Your mother was very wise." "Yes, she was. And she liked you, you know?" "How do you know?" "Because belly mommy only liked good people, and she let you help me be born." Christopher knelt in front of Emily. "Emily, I want you to know something. You're the best thing I've ever done in my life, even though I didn't do it right." "What does done right mean?" "It means I helped you be born, but it was Daddy Brian who taught you how to live." "And don't you want to teach too?" "I do, if you let me. I want to teach you some things I know." "What things?" "I know how to make kites, I know how to fish, I know how to fix bicycles." "I want to learn. But can Daddy teach together?" "Of course he can. In fact, it would be better if he taught together." Emily ran to the living room. "Daddy, Uncle Christopher is going to teach us how to make kites." Brian smiled at his daughter's enthusiasm. "Is he, and when will this lesson be?" "Next weekend?" suggested Christopher. "Could be. And you, Jessica, do you want to learn too?" "Of course, and we can take Michael. He'll like watching the kites fly." That weekend, the whole family went to an open field to make kites. Christopher taught the techniques he learned in childhood. Brian helped Emily hold the string, and Jessica ran after Michael, who was trying to catch the colorful strings. "Look, Daddy, my kite is flying," shouted Emily, excited. "It's beautiful, Princess." "Uncle Christopher, you're a good teacher." Christopher felt useful for the first time in years. He was contributing to his daughter's happiness, even if in a limited way. At the end of the afternoon, when they were gathering the kites, Emily asked a question that took everyone by surprise. "Can I take Uncle Christopher to meet Grandma Margaret?" Brian and Jessica looked at each other. They hadn't yet thought about how Mrs. Margaret would react to learning about Christopher. "What do you think, Emily?" "Grandma might get confused," said Jessica. "Why?" "Because she doesn't know there's an Uncle Christopher in your life." "Then we can tell her. She's nice, she'll understand." Brian decided to talk with Mrs. Margaret before any meeting. On Monday, he went to his mother-in-law's house. "Brian, what a surprise. Did something happen?" "Mrs. Margaret, I need to tell you something about Emily, and about Catherine." Brian told the whole story, the discovery of the true parentage, the meeting with Christopher, and the relationship that was developing. Mrs. Margaret remained silent for a long time. "Catherine never told me," she said finally. "She didn't tell anyone, except Michelle." "And you? How do you feel knowing Emily isn't your biological daughter?" "I feel like it doesn't change anything. She's still my daughter." "And this Christopher? What kind of man is he?" "He's a man who made a mistake when he was young and is now trying to make it right, but he respects our role as parents." "And does Emily like him?" "She does, but as a beloved uncle, not as a father." Mrs. Margaret sighed. Catherine was always complicated. She was afraid of hurting the people she loved. "Are you angry with her?" "No, Brian. I'm proud. She made sure Emily had a wonderful father, even if through a lie." "So would you like to meet Christopher?" "I would. I want to look in the eyes of the man who fathered my granddaughter." The following Sunday, Christopher went to meet Mrs. Margaret. The meeting was tense at first, but Emily broke the ice with her naturalness. "Grandma, Uncle Christopher knows how to make kites just like you, and he likes strawberries just like me." "Is that so?" said Mrs. Margaret, watching Christopher carefully. "Yes. And he said my tummy mommy was special." "She really was special. She was my daughter." Christopher approached Mrs. Margaret. "Ma'am, I want to apologize for abandoning Catherine when she needed me most." "Apologies should be given to her," Not to me. I know, and I already did, in the little corner they made for her. Mrs. Margaret was surprised. You went to Catherine's corner. I did, and I promised her that I will try to be a positive presence in Emily's life without disrupting the family she built. And how do you plan to do that? By being a present uncle, teaching things I know, helping when needed, but always respecting that Brian is her father. Mrs. Margaret watched how Emily interacted naturally with Christopher, without any loyalty conflicts. Emily, come here to Grandma. Yes, Grandma. Do you like Uncle Christopher? I like him a lot. And does that make you like your daddy less? No. Each one is a different person. Daddy is my father. Uncle Christopher is my special friend. Special friend? Yes. Just like Grandma is my special grandma, Mama Jess is my special mom, and Michael is my special brother. Mrs. Margaret smiled at her granddaughter's simple logic. I see. And are you happy having all these special people? Very happy. The more special people, the better. In the afternoon, when Christopher left, Mrs. Margaret gave her verdict. He seems to be an honest man, and Emily is handling the situation well. So you approve? I do, as long as you keep putting Emily's well-being first. In the following weeks, the family's life found a new balance. Christopher visited on Sundays, brought small gifts, taught practical things to Emily, and gradually became a beloved but not essential presence. Emily continued calling Brian Daddy and Jessica Mama Jess, reserving for Christopher the affectionate Uncle Christopher. One day, Emily came home from school with an assignment about a family tree. Mama Jess, the teacher asked us to make the family tree, but I don't know how to put everyone. Jessica looked at the worksheet and realized the girl's dilemma. How about we make a special tree, different from the other kids? How so? Let's make a tree where all the people who love you fit, no matter how they came into your life. Emily was excited about the idea. Can I put Uncle Christopher? You can, and Grandma Margaret, and Aunt Michelle, and even Michael, and my tummy mommy. Of course you can. She is the root of your tree. Together, they drew a unique tree, where Catherine appeared as the root, Brian and Jessica as the main branches, Emily and Michael as the central leaves, and all the other special people as flowers and fruits scattered along the branches. It's beautiful, said Emily. It's the most complete tree in the class. And it's the truest tree too, said Jessica, because it shows that family isn't just blood, it's love. At the school presentation, Emily explained her tree to her classmates. This is my special family. I have a tummy mommy who became a little star, a heart daddy who raised me since I was a baby, a heart mommy who takes care of me now, a little brother who was born after me, a special uncle who helped me be born, and a grandma who tells stories about my tummy mommy. The teacher was impressed with Emily's maturity and clarity. What an interesting family, Emily. Do you feel confused with so many people? No, each person has a different place in my heart. It doesn't get confusing because each one is unique. The other parents at the presentation were moved by the girl's naturalness in dealing with her unconventional family. After the presentation, one mother approached Jessica. Your daughter is very wise. How did you get her to accept this complex family situation so well? By being honest about everything, always respecting her feelings, and showing that love isn't a finite resource, replied Jessica. Finite resource? The more people we love, the more love we have to give. The heart doesn't shrink, it multiplies. That evening, Emily wanted to show the family tree to Brian. Daddy, look how our family looks on paper. Brian studied the drawing carefully. It's perfect, Princess. It shows exactly how we are. Daddy, can I ask you a question? You always can. Were you sad when you found out that Uncle Christopher helped me be born? Brian thought about an honest answer. At first, I was a little confused, but then I understood that it didn't change anything between us. Why? Because being a father isn't about making the baby in Mommy's belly. It's about caring, teaching, loving, and being there every day. And you did all that with me? I did, and I'll keep doing it forever. So you're my real dad even without making me in Mommy's belly? Exactly. Just like Mama Jess is my real mom, even without making me in her belly. Exactly the same. Emily smiled, satisfied with the answers. "Daddy, I love our strange family." "Why strange?" "Because it's different from my friends' families. But it's better, because it has more love." Brian hugged his daughter, his heart full of gratitude for having such a special child. A few months later, Jessica discovered she was pregnant. The news brought joy, but also worry about how Emily would react. "How are we going to tell the children?" asked Brian. "We'll be direct and honest, like we've always been." "What if Emily gets jealous?" "We'll handle it with lots of talking and affection." On the weekend, they gathered Emily and Michael in the living room. "Kids, Daddy and Mama Jess have some news to share." Emily immediately paid attention. "What news?" "You're going to have a little brother or sister," said Jessica. Emily's eyes widened. "Really, in your belly, Mama Jess?" "Really?" Emily jumped off the couch and hugged Jessica. "That's so cool. I always wanted a brother from Mama Jess's belly." Brian was surprised by his daughter's positive reaction. "You're not jealous?" "Why would I be jealous? The baby will be ours, right?" "Of course it will." "Then it'll be one more special person in our family." Michael, who didn't fully understand the situation yet, clapped, seeing his sister happy. "And if it's a girl, can I teach her how to play with dolls?" asked Emily. "Yes, you can," replied Jessica. "And if it's a boy, can I teach him how to play ball with Michael?" "You can do that too." "And can Uncle Christopher meet the baby?" Brian and Jessica exchanged glances. It was a question they hadn't considered yet. "What do you think?" asked Brian. "I think yes. Uncle Christopher is part of our special family." "Then he can meet," agreed Jessica. That afternoon, Emily called Mrs. Margaret to share the news. "Grandma, you're going to have another grandchild." "Really? That's wonderful, my dear. And this time it'll be from Mama Jess's belly. I'm going to have a brother who's half mine and half Daddy and Mama Jess's." "What do you mean, half yours?" "Because I'm going to help take care of him, just like I help with Michael." Mrs. Margaret laughed at her granddaughter's logic. "You're going to be a wonderful big sister." "Yes, I will, and the baby will be lucky, because it'll be born into a family that already knows how to love." During Jessica's pregnancy, Emily proved to be extremely protective and affectionate. She talked to her stepmother's belly, sang to the baby, and even picked names for each possibility. "If it's a girl, it could be Sophia. If it's a boy, it could be Gabriel," she said. "Why those names?" asked Jessica. "Sophia because it means wisdom, and our family is wise. Gabriel because it means strength of God, and our family is strong." Christopher continued visiting regularly, always interested in the well-being of the whole family. "Emily, are you excited about the baby?" he asked one Sunday. "Very much. It's going to be different this time." "Different how?" "Because I'll be there from the start. With Michael, he was already a baby when I began to understand things. But this baby I'll see being born. And aren't you afraid of sharing your parents' attention?" Emily thought about the question. "No, because love doesn't run out when you share it, like a piece of cake. When you cut it into smaller slices, it's still cake, but more people can eat it." Christopher was impressed by the girl's metaphor. "You're very smart, you know that." "The birth mom was smart, Dad is smart, Mama Jess is smart, I take after everyone." When Jessica was in her 8th month of pregnancy, Emily started having nightmares again, but this time they weren't about her birth mother. "Mama Jess, I dreamed that when the baby was born you wouldn't need me anymore." Jessica sat on Emily's bed and stroked her hair. "Why did you dream that?" "Because now you'll have a real baby, made from you." "Emily, look at me. Michael isn't more your brother because he came from the birth mom's belly, right?" "No." "And you aren't less my daughter because you didn't come from my belly, right?" "No. So this baby won't be more ours because it came from my belly. It will be ours just like you are ours." "Are you sure?" "Absolutely. Want me to prove it?" "How?" "Tomorrow we're going to the doctor to see the baby on the ultrasound. Do you want to come along and see your little brother or sister?" Emily got excited. "Can I go, even though it's not my baby?" "Of course you can. You're the big sister, it's very important." In the doctor's office, Emily was fascinated to see the baby on the monitor. "Look at the tiny fingers," she shouted, "and the little nose." "Do you want to listen to the baby's heartbeat?" asked the doctor. "Can I?" The sound of the fetal heartbeat filled the room, and Emily was moved. "It's really alive," she said, touching Jessica's belly. "Yes, it is, and it's hearing your voice from in here. Hi, baby, I'm your sister Emily. I'm waiting for you out here." Jessica was touched to see Emily's immediate affection for the sibling who hadn't even been born yet. "Doctor, is it a boy or a girl?" asked Emily. "Do you want to know?" "We do," everyone answered in chorus. "It's a girl." Emily jumped for joy. "Sophia, it's Sophia. I knew it was going to be a girl." On the way home, Emily couldn't stop talking about her sister. "I'm going to teach her lots of things. I'll teach her how to brush her teeth, tie her shoes, braid her hair." "And what if she doesn't want to learn?" asked Brian, amused. "She will. Sisters always want to learn from big sisters." "How do you know?" "The birth mom told me. She had a big sister who taught her everything." 2 weeks later, Jessica went into labor. Emily stayed with Mrs. Margaret while Brian took his wife to the hospital. "Grandma, I'm nervous," said Emily. "Why, my dear?" "What if Sophia doesn't like me?" "Why wouldn't she like you?" "Because I'm not from the same belly as her, Mrs." Margaret sat Emily on her lap. "Emily, when you were born, I thought the same thing." "You did? I thought, what if she doesn't like me because I'm not her mother? But you know what happened?" "What?" "You loved me from the very first day. Because love doesn't look at bellies, love looks at hearts. And does my heart already love Sophia?" "From what I saw today, at the doctor's, your heart already loves Sophia very much." That night, Brian called with the news. "Sophia was born. She and Mama Jess are doing well," Emily screamed with joy. "Can I see her? Tomorrow morning you'll come meet your little sister." The next morning, Emily entered the hospital room carrying a wrapped gift. "Mama Jess, how are you?" "I'm well, my love. Would you like to meet Sophia?" Jessica placed the baby in Emily's arms, who held her very carefully. "Hi, Sophia. I'm your sister Emily. I brought a gift for you." The gift was a small doll, just like the one Emily had received from Catherine. "For her to play with when she grows a little," explained Emily. "How beautiful, Emily. Sophia will love it." "Can I give her my finger to hold?" Sophia squeezed Emily's finger with her tiny hand. "She liked me," said Emily, beaming. Brian watched the scene, moved. His family was complete in a way he never imagined possible. "Emily, would you like to hold Sophia by yourself?" "May I?" Brian helped Emily settle into an armchair and carefully placed Sophia in her arms. "Hi, little sister, you're so tiny, but don't worry because I'll teach you how to grow strong and smart." Sophia opened her little eyes and seemed to look directly at Emily. "Daddy, she's looking at me." "Yes, she is. She already recognizes your voice. She heard you talking to her in Mama Jess's belly." "Sophia, when you leave the hospital, you'll see our home. There's a beautiful room waiting for you, and there's the corner from the belly mommy where you'll learn about our special family." A week later, Sophia came home. Emily took on the role of older sister with great pride and responsibility. "Michael, come meet our sister," called Emily. Michael, now 2 years old, approached the baby curiously. "Baby," he said, gently touching Sophia's head. "That's right, Michael. It's our sister Sophia. Now we're 3 siblings." Christopher came to meet Sophia on the first Sunday after her arrival. "She's beautiful," he said, watching the baby in Emily's lap. "Do you want to hold her, Uncle Christopher?" "May I?" Emily carefully passed Sophia to Christopher, who was moved holding his heart's daughter for the first time. "Welcome to the special family, Sophia," he murmured. "Uncle Christopher, now you're the special uncle to 3 kids," said Emily. "That's right, and I feel very honored." Mrs. Margaret also came to meet her new granddaughter. "What a little beauty," she said, taking Sophia in her arms. "She has Emily's eyes." "She does," agreed Jessica, "and Brian's nose." "And the tiny mouth just like Michael's," added Emily. "So she's a little bit of each of us," said Brian. "Just like our whole family," said Emily. "Everyone is a little bit of everyone." In the following months, Emily proved to be an exemplary older sister. She helped change diapers, sang Sophia to sleep, and was always willing to play with her. "Emily, don't you get tired of taking care of Sophia?" asked Jessica one afternoon. No, it's just that I remembered something the belly mommy told me. What did she say? That when Sophia was born, I would understand what older sister love is. And she was right. It's different from any other love. Different how? It's a love that teaches. I feel important because I can teach her things. And what do you want to teach her first? I want to teach her to know all of our special family, so she understands that family isn't just who lives in the same house. When Sophia turned 6 months old, the family organized a party where everyone was present. Brian, Jessica, Emily, Michael, Christopher, Mrs. Margaret, and Michelle, who came from New York. "Look, Sophia," said Emily, showing the baby to all present. "This is our whole family. There are so many people who love you." Sophia smiled at everyone, as if she truly understood the importance of that moment. "Emily, would you like to do the honors?" asked Brian. "What honors?" "Introduce Sophia to the belly mommy." Emily took Sophia to Catherine's corner. "Belly mommy, this is Sophia. She is Michael's sister and my little sister too. She came from Mama Jess's belly, but she's been part of our family forever." Everyone was moved by the simplicity and sincerity of the moment. "Emily," said Mrs. Margaret, "do you think the birth mother would be happy seeing our family today?" Emily thought about the question. "I think so, because she wanted Dad to be happy, for Michael and me to be happy, and for Mama Jess to take good care of us. And all of that happened. And what else did she want? She wanted us to learn that love is the most important thing in the world. And we learned." Christopher approached Emily. "Emily, can I ask you a question?" "Go ahead." "Do you regret meeting me?" "Why would I regret it?" "Because it complicated your family's story." Emily looked at Christopher seriously. "Uncle Christopher, you didn't complicate anything. You made our family more interesting." "More interesting?" "Yeah. Now I can tell Sophia that our family is so special that we even have people who helped us be born, but stayed away for a while and then came back to be our friends. And that's good? It's great. It shows that everyone can change and become a better person." Christopher hugged Emily, emotional. "Thank you for giving me a second chance." "You're welcome, Uncle Christopher. Everyone deserves a second chance when they want to be better." That night, after everyone had left, the family gathered in the living room to talk about the day. "How do you feel about our family today?" asked Brian. "I feel complete," said Jessica. "I have everything I ever dreamed of." "I feel lucky," said Brian. "I got a much bigger family than I expected." "And you, Emily?" asked Jessica. "I feel special, because our family shows that love has no rules." "How so?" "A father's love can come from someone who didn't carry you. A mother's love can come from someone who didn't give birth to you. A brother's love can come from someone with other mothers. And a friend's love can come from someone who made mistakes and wants to make things right." Brian was impressed by his daughter's maturity. "Where did you learn all this?" "By living our story," Emily replied simply. Sophia started crying, and Emily got up immediately. "Let me see what she wants." Emily went over to the crib and talked to her sister. "What's wrong, Sophia? Are you hungry, sleepy, or just want attention?" Sophia stopped crying when she heard her sister's voice. "I think she just wanted attention," said Emily, stroking the baby's head. "How do you know?" asked Brian. "Because sometimes we just want to be sure that the people we love are nearby." Jessica was moved by her stepdaughter's answer. "Emily, you're a very special girl." "All the children in our family are special," she replied. "Michael is special because he's affectionate. Sophia is special because she's tiny and perfect. And I'm special because I'm the big sister and can take care of everyone." "And us adults, are we special too?" asked Brian, joking. "Of course. Dad is special because he loves everyone equally. Mama Jess is special because she turned 3 strangers into a family. Grandma Margaret is special because she keeps the birth mother's memories. And Uncle Christopher is special because he showed that people can change." That night, Emily wrote a letter to Catherine, a tradition she had developed over the past few months. "Birth Mother, today Sophia turned 6 months old. She's beautiful and smart. I think you would be proud to see our family today. Dad is happy, Mama Jess is happy, Michael is growing up strong, and I'm learning to be a responsible big sister. Uncle Christopher has come to stay, and now our family has all the colors of the rainbow. Thank you for choosing Dad and for leaving the letter for Mama Jess. You chose everything right. I love you forever, Emily. She folded the letter and placed it in Catherine's corner, beside the fresh flowers that Jessica changed weekly. 2 years later, when Sophia was starting to walk and talk, Emily organized a special presentation for the family. Everyone come to the living room. Sophia and I have prepared a surprise. Everyone gathered in the living room, curious. Emily appeared holding Sophia's hand, who walked with unsteady but determined steps. Sophia, tell everyone who these people are. Sophia, at 2 years old, pointed to each person. Daddy, she said, pointing to Brian. Mommy, she said, pointing to Jessica. Mimi, she said, pointing to Michael. She still couldn't say Michael properly. Isa, she said, pointing to Emily. Uncle, she said, pointing to Christopher. Grandma, she said, pointing to Mrs. Margaret. Emily applauded, proud. Very good, Sophia. And who are all these people together? Sophia thought for a moment and then shouted, Family. Everyone laughed and applauded. The word family was still being learned, but the concept was perfectly clear. And you, Sophia, what are you? Asked Emily. Me? Family too. That's right, you are family too. Brian stood up and hugged all the children at once. You three are the most precious thing in this world. And you are the most amazing parents in the universe, said Emily. We are all amazing, said Jessica, because we built something beautiful together. At that moment, Sophia ran to Catherine's corner and touched the photo. Tummy, Mommy, she said in her own special language. Emily got emotional. That's right, Sophia. This is our tummy, Mommy. She's the one who started our family. Sophia gave a little kiss to the photo and ran back to Jessica's lap. Tummy, Mommy, heart, Mommy, all Mommy, said Sophia, hugging Jessica. Exactly, my love. They are all mommies, each one in a special way. Christopher watched the scene, still amazed at how that family had managed to build something so solid amid such complex circumstances. Brian, he said, can I talk to you in private? The two went out to the backyard. What is it, Christopher? I wanted to thank you. Thank me for what? For allowing me to be part of Emily's life. I know it wasn't easy. At first it really wasn't, but now I see it was the right decision. How so? Emily learned that people can make mistakes and still be good. She learned that family is built with choices, not just blood. And she learned that forgiving isn't forgetting, it's giving an opportunity for something new to grow. Do you think she has really forgiven me? I think she never had anything to forgive. To her, you are simply a special person who came into her life when she was ready to receive you. And you, do you forgive me for abandoning her? Brian thought about the question. Christopher, I can't forgive something that didn't directly affect me. The one you abandoned was Catherine, not me. And Emily never felt that abandonment because she always had enough love around her. But can you forgive me for lying about paternity all these years? You didn't lie, Christopher. You simply weren't present, and maybe it was better that way. Why? Because if you had been present back then, maybe I would never have become Emily's father, and that would have been a huge loss for me. Christopher smiled. You're a better man than I imagined. And you're a better man than you yourself imagined. Look how you've changed in these past few years. Have I really changed? You've become a positive presence in the children's lives. You've become someone Emily can trust. You've become part of the solution, not the problem. And now? Where do we go from here? We continue as we are. You keep being the special uncle, I keep being the father, and everyone stays happy. And if one day Emily wants to know more about me, about my family, my story, so we told her, always with the truth, always respecting that she already has an established family. And if she wants to see me more often, we'll talk about that when the time comes. The important thing is that everything is decided with her well-being in mind. They went back to the living room, where they found the children playing together and the women talking about vacation plans. Mama Jess, said Emily, when are we going to see great-grandma's house? How about next July vacation? Can we take everyone? Everyone who? You, Daddy, me, Michael, Sophia, Grandma Margaret, and Uncle Christopher. The house isn't very big, Emily. No problem. We can spread out. The important thing is that we all go together. Brian smiled at his daughter's insistence on including everyone. Let's see if everyone can go, okay? It'll be our first trip as a complete family, said Emily excitedly. 2 months later, everyone was preparing for the trip to Great-Grandma's house. Emily had made a list of everything she wanted to show Sophia and Michael. I want to show them the tree where my birth mom used to play, the creek where she fished with Grandpa, and the orchard where she picked fruit. What if things have changed a lot? Asked Jessica. No problem. The important thing is to be in the place where my birth mom was a child just like me. The car trip took 4 hours. Sophia slept most of the time. Michael played with his toys, and Emily watched the landscape, imagining her mother making that same journey as a child. When they arrived at the house, Emily was enchanted. It was a simple house with 3 bedrooms, a large porch, and a huge backyard. "It's just like the pictures," she shouted, running to the backyard. The big tree was still there with low branches perfect for climbing. The creek ran along the back of the property, making a soft, constant sound, and the orchard had several fruit trees. "Mama Jess, can I climb the tree?" "Yes, but be careful." Emily climbed to a low branch and sat down, trying to imagine her mother in that same spot. "From here I can see the whole house. My birth mom must have really liked being here." Christopher approached the tree. "Want me to help you climb higher?" "Can you?" Christopher helped Emily reach a higher branch from where she could see even the distant city. "What a beautiful view," she said. "I'll bring Sophia here when she grows up." "And Michael, too," said Christopher. "Of course. All our children will play in this tree." Brian heard the comment and smiled, seeing how Emily was already thinking about the next generation. That night, they spread out through the house. Brian and Jessica stayed in the master bedroom with Sophia. Michael slept in a room with Emily, and Christopher and Mrs. Margaret stayed in the 3rd bedroom. "Emily," said Michael before sleeping, "I like it here." "Me too, Michael. It's as if my birth mom was still here with us." "Is she?" "Yes, she is. In the places she loved, in the things she touched, in the stories Grandma Margaret tells about her. And does she like that we're here?" "She likes it very much. I bet she's happy seeing our whole family gathered in her house." The next morning, Emily woke up early and went out to the backyard. She found Mrs. Margaret sitting on the porch, watching the sunrise. "Grandma, are you okay?" "I am, my dear. I'm just remembering Catherine as a child. What was she like?" "Just like you, curious, affectionate, always concerned about everyone." "Did she play here a lot?" "She did, especially in that tree you climbed yesterday." "And what else did she like to do?" "She liked helping Great-Grandma in the kitchen, feeding the chickens, picking fruit in the orchard. Can I do those things too?" "Of course you can. The house is yours now." Emily ran to wake the others. "Everyone, wake up. Let's pick fruit and explore everything." The family spent a whole week at Great-Grandma's house. Emily taught Sophia and Michael how to climb the tree. Everyone fished in the creek, without much success, and picked fruit in the orchard. Christopher proved to be very skilled with repairs and improvements, fixing several things that were broken in the house. "Uncle Christopher, you're good at everything," said Emily, watching him fix a faucet. "I learned these things when I was young. My father taught me." "Can you teach Michael when he grows up?" "Yes, I can, and Sophia too if she wants." "Of course she'll want to. Our family learns everything together." On the last day of the trip, Emily organized a special ceremony in the backyard. "I want everyone to take a stone from the creek and make a wish for our family." Each one took a stone and made their wish in silence. "Now let's put all the stones under Mama Jess's belly tree, so our wishes stay guarded here." They made a small circle with the stones at the foot of the tree. "This way, every time we come back here, we'll remember our wishes," explained Emily. "And what wish did you make?" asked Brian. "I wished that our family keeps growing, but without ever stopping loving each other." "Growing how?" "I don't know. Maybe you and Mama Jess have more babies. Maybe Uncle Christopher finds a girlfriend. Maybe I'll get married one day and have children. but that everyone continues to be part of our special family. Jessica was moved by the generosity of her stepdaughter's wish. And if our family gets too big? Even better, there's always room for love. On the way back, Sophia slept in Emily's lap, Michael played with Christopher, and Brian drove while talking to Jessica. "What did you think of the trip?" he asked. "I thought it was perfect. The kids connected with Catherine's roots, and everyone had fun." "And Christopher? Did you think he behaved well?" "Very well. He's finding his place in the family without invading our space. Emily seems to have completely accepted him. She's wise. She understands that having more people who love her doesn't take anything away from her." When they got home, Emily ran to Catherine's little corner. "Belly, Mama, we're back from your house. Everything was as beautiful as you must have remembered. The tree is still strong, the creek is still singing, and the orchard is still giving sweet fruit. We left our wishes there for you to take care of, and we brought a little bit of that place in our hearts so you can always be close to us here too." She placed a small flower she had picked in the orchard next to Catherine's photo. "Now your house and our house are connected forever." 2 years passed. Sophia was 4 years old, Michael was 5, and Emily was 10. The family had established a perfect routine where everyone knew their place and function. Emily was in 5th grade and was one of the best students in her class. Her essay about my family had won 1st place in the school contest. "Can I read my essay to you?" she asked one night after dinner. "Of course, Princess." "My family is different from all the other families I know, not because it's strange, but because it's special in a unique way. I have a father who raised me since I was a baby, even though I'm not his blood daughter. I have a heart mother who chose me when I was already big. I have a brother who was born from the same belly as me, and a sister who was born from my heart mother's belly. I have a special uncle who helped me be born, but only met me when I was big. I have a grandma who tells stories about my belly mother, who became a little star when I was small. And I have a home where love grows like a well-cared-for plant. Some people think that family has to be father, mother, and children all the same. But I learned that family is where there is love, care, respect, and people who want what's best for us. My family taught me that the heart has no limited size. The more people we love, the more love we can give. That's why I love my special family, and I hope one day everyone can have a family like this." When Emily finished reading, everyone had tears in their eyes. "Emily, this essay is beautiful," said Jessica. "And it's true," added Brian. "Of course it's true. I always tell the truth about our family." Christopher approached Emily. "Can I ask you a question?" "Go ahead." "Aren't you ashamed of having such a different family?" "Ashamed? Why?" "Because it's not like most families." Emily thought about the question. "Uncle Christopher, are you ashamed of being tall?" "No." "Then why would I be ashamed of having a special family? Being different isn't bad. It's just being unique. What if someone says bad things about our family? Then it's because that person doesn't understand what real love is, and we can teach them." "Teach how?" "By showing how happy we are. When people see a happy family, they stop criticizing and start learning." Mrs. Margaret, who had arrived for dinner, overheard the conversation. "Emily, you've become a very wise girl." "I learned from everyone in the family. Each person taught me something." "What did each one teach you?" "Daddy taught me that love doesn't need blood to be real. Mama Jess taught me that we can choose our family. Michael taught me that siblings always protect each other. Sophia taught me that babies are little miracles. Grandma taught me that memories are treasures, and Uncle Christopher taught me that it's never too late to do the right thing." "And your birth mother, what did she teach you?" "My birth mother taught me the most important thing of all." "What?" "That true love wants what's best for the loved one, even when it hurts. She let Daddy free to love again, let me free to have a new mother, and made sure our family would be happy even without her here." At that moment, Sophia came running into the living room. "Mommy, Daddy M, Michael pooped all by himself in the potty." Everyone laughed at Sophia's spontaneity, who always announced her brother's achievements as if they were major events. "That's great, Sophia. Let's go congratulate Michael." The family rushed to the bathroom, where Michael was proud of his accomplishment. Look, just like big people. Congratulations, Michael. Now you're becoming independent. What's independent? It's when we can do things by ourselves. I want to be independent like you, Em. You will be. But take it slow, because growing up is a good thing that shouldn't be rushed. Brian watched the interactions between the siblings, moved by the natural way Emily had taken on the role of big sister. Emily, he said when they were alone, you know you can count on me for anything, right? I know, Dad, I always have. And you know you'll always be my daughter no matter what happens? I know that too. Dad, why are you telling me these things? Because sometimes I get scared that you'll grow up thinking you're not as important to me as the others. Emily hugged her father. Dad, you've shown me millions of times that I'm important. You don't need to be scared. How did I show you? You never missed a school presentation of mine. You read me stories every night. You teach me how to ride a bike. You take me to the doctor when I'm sick. You comforted me every time I cried. That's what a father who truly loves does. And do you love me too? I love you so much. You're the best dad in the world to me. Even knowing there's another man who's your biological father? Dad, Uncle Christopher is nice, but he's not my father. A father is who raises you, not who makes you, and the one who raised me was you. Brian hugged Emily tighter, feeling all the love she had for him. Thank you, Princess, for letting me be your father. Thank you for choosing to be my father. That night, Emily wrote another letter to Catherine. Birth Mama, today I understood something very important. I understood that you gave me the greatest gift in the world. You gave me a father who truly loves me. I know you could have told Dad that I wasn't his daughter when he met me, but you didn't tell him because you knew the love between us would be stronger than any truth. And you were right. Dad loves me as if I had been born from his heart, and I love him as if he were the only person in the world who could be my father. Thank you for planning everything to work out. Your daughter who loves you forever, Emily. The next morning, Emily woke up with Sophia playing with her hair. Isa, are you going to get married someday? Why do you want to know? Because I want to be the maid of honor at your wedding. Emily laughed at her sister's early concern. If I ever get married, you'll be the most beautiful maid of honor in the world. And can Michael be the page boy? Of course he can. And will Mama and Dad cry like in the movies? They'll probably cry more than in the movies. And will Uncle Christopher be there too? If he wants to be there, he will be. And will you wear Birth Mama's dress? Emily stopped brushing her teeth. What Birth Mama dress? The wedding dress that's in the attic. Grandma Margaret showed it to me the other day. Emily got excited about the discovery. Let's go see this dress. The two went up to the attic, where there was indeed a box with Catherine's wedding dress carefully stored. How beautiful, said Emily, touching the delicate fabric. You'll look more beautiful than Birth Mama in this dress, said Sophia. No one looks more beautiful than Birth Mama, but it would be an honor to wear her dress. Should we show Mama Jess? Let's. They ran downstairs with the box, finding Jessica in the kitchen preparing breakfast. Mama Jess, look what we found. Jessica opened the box and got emotional seeing Catherine's dress. What a beautiful dress! Catherine was radiant when she wore it. Did you see Birth Mama in her wedding dress? Asked Emily. Yes, I did, in the wedding photos your dad showed me. And you're not jealous? Why would I be? Because she wore this dress first. Jessica thought about her answer. Emily, do you know the difference between new clothes and clothes with history? I don't know. Clothes with history carry the love of those who wore them before. If you wear this dress someday, you won't be copying your birth mother. You'll be honoring her. And would you let me wear it? I would with great pride. It would be a way to show that our family honors the past while building the future. Emily hugged Jessica. You're the most special mother in the world. Why? Because you're not jealous of Birth Mama. You like her. I do like her. How could I not like someone who gave me you, Michael, and your father's love? At that moment, Brian entered the kitchen and saw the dress. Wow, I haven't seen this dress in years. Dad, Emily is going to wear it when she gets married, announced Sophia. Brian smiled. She'll look beautiful, just like her mother. Just like both her mothers, corrected Emily. That's right, just like both her mothers. 2 more years passed. Emily was 12 years old in 7th grade and starting to show interest in teenage activities. Sophia was 6 years old in 1st grade and Michael was 7 years old in 2nd grade. The family had moved to a bigger house to better accommodate everyone during visits and have a proper guest room for Christopher and Mrs. Margaret. Emily, said Brian one afternoon, you're becoming a young lady. How do you feel? I feel good, but I also feel responsible. Responsible for what? For being a good example for Sophia and Michael. They look at me as if I know everything. And do you? I know some important things. I know that family is love. I know that people can change. I know forgiving is good for the one who forgives, and I know being different is better than being the same. These are really important things. Daddy, can I ask you a personal question? Of course. Are you and Mama Jess going to have more babies? Why do you want to know? Because Sophia asked, and I didn't know how to answer. And what did you tell her? I said, if you had more babies, it would be great. And if you didn't, it would be great too. Because our family is already perfect just the way it is. Brian felt proud of his daughter's maturity. That was a very wise answer. But are you going to? We don't know yet. We're talking about it. And what's in doubt? Whether we could give enough attention to another child, considering you 3 already require a lot of care. Daddy, can I give my opinion? You always can. I think you could, because love multiplies, and Michael and I are already big enough to help with another baby. You would really help. Of course, I love babies. And it would be cool to have another little brother or sister. What if it were twins? Emily broke into a huge smile. Even better, our family would be even more special. That night, Brian talked to Jessica about the conversation with Emily. What do you think? He asked. I think Emily is right. Love multiplies. So, you want to have another baby? I do. And you? I do too. Especially seeing how well our children get along with each other. So shall we try? Let's. 3 months later, Jessica found out she was pregnant again, and the surprise was even greater. They were twins. Twins! Emily shouted when she heard the news. I said it would be cool if it were twins. And now do you think we can handle it? Brian asked, joking. We can. We're an experienced family at taking care of kids. Sophia and Michael were also excited about the news. Are there going to be 2 babies at once? Sophia asked. Yes, there are, Jessica replied. How lucky. That way they won't be alone. Michael, who was always shyer, worried about a practical matter. Where will 2 babies sleep? In the room that used to be just mine, Sophia answered. I'm going to share with Emily. Are you sure, Sophia? You've always had your own room. I'm sure. It'll be fun to share a room with Isa. Emily hugged her sister. It really will be so much fun. When Christopher heard the news, he was moved. 2 more babies, our family keeps growing. And are you happy about that? Emily asked. Very happy. Every new child is more joy for all of us. Uncle Christopher, are you going to teach things to the twins too? If you let me, I'll teach everything I know. Of course we'll let you. You're already the official teacher of our family. During the twin pregnancy, the whole family mobilized to help. Emily took on more responsibilities with Sophia and Michael, always under the guidance of Brian and Jessica. Emily, Jessica said one afternoon when she was tired, are you sure you want to help so much? You're a child too. Mama Jess, I like helping. It makes me feel important. You are important, whether you help or not. I know, but I want the twins to grow up knowing they have an older sister who takes care of them. Like you took care of Sophia and Michael. Yes. I want them to feel protected and loved from day one. Jessica was moved by her stepdaughter's generosity. You're going to be a wonderful big sister. I'll try. My birth mum taught me that taking care of younger siblings is a good responsibility. When did she teach you that? In the stories Grandma Margaret tells, my birth mum always took care of Aunt Michelle when they were little. And you want to be like her? I want to be like her in the good things, caring, responsible, and always thinking about the family's well-being. 2 months before the twins were born, Emily organized a family meeting. Guys, we need to get organized for when the babies arrive. What do you mean, get organized? Asked Brian. Everyone will have a special role to help out. And what role did you think of for each one? I'll be Mama Jess's main assistant. I'll help change diapers, give baths, and put the babies to sleep. And me? Asked Sophia. You'll be in charge of making the babies laugh. You're good at that. And me? Asked Michael. You'll be the protector. If anyone bothers the babies, you let us know. And Daddy? Daddy will be what he's always been, the best father in the world. And Mama Jess? Mama Jess will be the queen of the family. She'll be in charge of everyone to make sure everything works out. And Uncle Christopher? Uncle Christopher will be the teacher of practical things. He'll teach the babies how to do things with their hands when they grow up. And Grandma Margaret? Grandma will be the official family storyteller. Brian and Jessica laughed at Emily's detailed organization. What if someone can't fulfill their role? Asked Jessica. Then everyone helps everyone else, just like it's always been in our family. 2 months later, Raphael and Gabriel were born, 2 identical twin boys who completed the family for good. Emily got emotional seeing them for the first time. They look exactly alike. How will we tell them apart? Raphael has a little spot on his right foot, explained the doctor, and Gabriel has an almost invisible mark behind his left ear. Hi, Raphael and Gabriel, said Emily, gently touching each baby's hand. I'm your big sister, Emily. I came to welcome you to the world. The babies seemed to react to her voice, moving their little fingers. Look, Mama Jess, they recognized me. It's possible, yes. They heard your voice throughout the pregnancy. Sophia and Michael arrived at the hospital a few hours later. Where are my little brothers? Asked Sophia excitedly. Here, look, said Brian, showing them the babies. Why are there 2 that look the same? Because they're twins. They grew up close together in Mama Jess's belly. Michael observed the babies with curiosity. They're so small. You were just like them when you were born, said Emily. Babies are always born small and then they grow. And will they like me? They'll love you, Michael, just like we all love you. Christopher arrived with Mrs. Margaret the following afternoon. My grandchildren, said Mrs. Margaret, getting emotional at the sight of the babies. Technically, they're not your blood grandchildren, said Emily. Emily, scolded Brian. No, she's right, said Mrs. Margaret. Technically, they're not. But in my heart, they're my grandchildren as much as you 3 are. Exactly, said Emily. In our family, heart matters more than blood. Christopher carefully picked up one of the babies, Raphael, in his arms. Welcome to the most special family in the world, he murmured to him. Uncle Christopher, said Emily. They'll call you Uncle from when they're little. That way there won't be any confusion. Perfect. I'll be the best uncle they can have. In the first week at home with the twins, the family developed a routine where everyone participated in caring for the babies. Emily truly became Jessica's main assistant, always willing to help with anything. Emily, said Jessica one morning, you don't have to wake up every time the babies cry in the middle of the night. But I want to help. You already help a lot during the day. At night you need to rest to go to school. But what if you get too tired? Your father helps me too, and the babies will learn to sleep through the night soon enough. Promise you'll call me if you need me. I promise. Sophia fulfilled her role of making the babies laugh perfectly. She had a natural talent for it. Look at that, she'd say, making funny faces. Gabriel smiled at me. Babies this age don't really smile yet, explained Brian. That's just a reflection. It doesn't matter, said Sophia. He liked my face. Michael took his role as protector very seriously. Daddy, he said one day, the neighbor was staring at the babies in the window. I think he wants to take them. Michael, your Anthony was just looking because he thought they were cute. He doesn't want to take them. Are you sure? Absolutely, but thank you for keeping an eye out. You're a very good protector. 3 months later, when the twins were more awake and interactive, Emily made an important discovery. Mama Jess, I think Raphael and Gabriel have different personalities. How so? Raphael is calmer and more observant. Gabriel is more energetic and expressive. Did you notice that on your own? I did. I spend a lot of time with them, so I know each one well. That's great, Emily. That will help a lot when they grow up. And there's something more important that I found out. What? They like different music to fall asleep. Raphael likes classical music. Gabrielle likes popular music. How did you figure that out? By testing. When one is crying and the other isn't, I sing different songs until I find out which one works. Jessica was impressed with Emily's dedication and observation. You have a natural knack for taking care of babies. I learned by watching you take care of Sophia, and I remembered how you took care of me when I was little. You remember when you were little? I remember some things. I remember you teaching me how to brush my teeth, you reading stories to me, you comforting me when I had nightmares. And how did you feel when I did those things? I felt loved and protected. That's how I want Raphael and Gabriel to feel with me. That night, Emily wrote another letter to Catherine. Belly Mom, our family has grown again. Now we are 8 people who love each other very much. Raphael and Gabriel are the most beautiful babies in the world, and I'm learning to be the big sister of twins. It's different from being the big sister of only one child, because I need to divide my attention equally. But it's a lot of fun too. They're still small, but you can already see that they are different people. I think you would be proud seeing our big, happy family. Daddy is fulfilled being the father of 5 children. Mama Jess is radiant taking care of all of us. And I'm learning that the more siblings we have, the more love we can give. Thank you for starting this amazing family. Your daughter who loves you infinitely, Emily. 1 year later, when the twins were walking and starting to talk, something happened that no one expected. Christopher met Sarah, a divorced teacher who had an 8-year-old daughter named Olivia. Uncle Christopher is dating, announced Emily, excited when she heard the news. And how do you feel about that? Asked Brian. Happy. Uncle Christopher deserves to be happy. And if he marries this woman? Even better, our family will grow a little more. Aren't you afraid he'll be less present in our lives? No, because Uncle Christopher has already proven that when he likes someone, he doesn't abandon them. Sophia was curious about the potential new member of the family. The daughter of Uncle Christopher's girlfriend will be our cousin. Not technically, he explained Emily, but if they get married, she'll be our heart sister. Like you are my heart sister. No, Sophia, I am your real sister. Olivia would be our borrowed sister. Borrowed sister? Yes, a person who becomes family when someone in the family gets married. Michael asked a practical question. If Uncle Christopher gets married, will he stop coming here? No, Michael. He will keep coming, but maybe he'll bring his wife and daughter too. And will there be room for everyone? There's always room for family, said Jessica, joining the conversation. 2 months later, Christopher brought Sarah and Olivia to meet the family. Emily was in charge of welcoming them, since she was the oldest of the children. Hi, Aunt Sarah. Hi, Olivia. I'm Emily. Hi, Emily. Christopher talks a lot about you. Good things, I hope, said Emily, laughing. Olivia was shy, hiding behind her mother. Olivia, do you want to meet my siblings? Asked Emily. The girl nodded, still embarrassed. This is Michael, who is 8 years old. This is Sophia, who is 7 years old. And these are the twins, Raphael and Gabriel, who are 1.5 years old. That's a lot of siblings, said Olivia, impressed. Yes, it is. And now you can be our borrowed sister. Borrowed sister? Yes. When people we like get married, the families mix a little bit. Olivia smiled for the first time. I always wanted to have siblings. Then you came to the right place. There are siblings everywhere. The afternoon passed quickly, with the children playing together while the adults talked. How were the kids with Olivia? Christopher asked Emily when they were alone. They were great. Olivia is nice and polite. And did you like her? I liked her a lot. She's shy but affectionate. And you don't mind the possibility of her being part of our family? Uncle Christopher, our family already has 8 people. 1 more won't make any difference. What if I marry Sarah? If you marry Aunt Sarah, we'll throw the most beautiful party in the world. You are a very special girl, Emily. I learned to be special from the most special family in the world. 6 months later, Christopher and Sarah got married in a small ceremony, with both families present. Emily was the maid of honor, representing Christopher's family. "Uncle Christopher," she said in her maid of honor speech, "today you gained a wife and a daughter, but we gained an aunt and a sister. May God bless you and make you very happy." Olivia went to live with Christopher and Sarah, but she started visiting Brian and Jessica's house on weekends. "Now I have 6 siblings," she said happily. "And we have 1 more sister," the others replied. Olivia's integration into the family was natural and quick. She got along especially well with Sophia and Michael, who were closer to her age. "Emily," Olivia said one day, "you all treat me better than my own blood family." "Why?" "Because you include me in everything. In my old family I always felt left out. Here, no one is left out. Everyone is important. Even me, who is just borrowed." "Olivia, you are not borrowed. You are our sister by choice." "What's the difference?" "A borrowed sister can go back to where she came from. A sister by choice stays forever." That same year, Emily turned 15. The party was a celebration of the entire extended family. 15 years, said Mrs. Margaret. "How time flies." "Grandma, 15 years isn't that long," said Emily. "For those who saw you being born, it's an eternity." "And do you remember when I was born?" "I remember it like it was yesterday. You were a very beautiful and very smart baby." "And was Mama happy from her belly when I was born?" "She was radiant. She said she had gained the greatest treasure in the world." "And was she right?" "Yes, she was. You have always been a treasure to all of us." At the party, Emily gave an emotional speech. "I want to thank all the people who have been part of my life these 15 years. Each of you has taught me something important. Dad, you taught me that love has nothing to do with blood. Mama Jess, you taught me that family is chosen with the heart. Michael, you taught me that siblings always protect each other. Sophia, you taught me that joy is contagious. Raphael and Gabriel, you taught me that babies are miracles. Olivia, you taught me that family can grow at any time. Uncle Christopher, you taught me that it's never too late to do the right thing. Grandma Margaret, you taught me to value memories. And Mama Jess from the belly, even though you're not here physically, you taught me that true love plans for the future of loved ones. Thank you for allowing me to be part of the most special family in the world." Everyone was moved by Emily's words. "And now," she continued, "I want to make an important announcement." "What announcement?" asked Brian. "I've decided that when I grow up I want to work with families." "What do you mean?" "I want to be a social worker or family psychologist. I want to help other families be as happy as ours." "What a beautiful idea," said Jessica. "It's just that I've learned so much about how to make a family work, and I want to share that with other people." "And are you sure about this choice?" "Absolutely. I want other children to have the chance to grow up in a family full of love, even if it's a family that's different from the norm." End of story. Dear listener, I hope the story of Emily and her special family has touched your heart as much as it has touched mine. Tell us in the comments, which moment moved you the most? And do you believe that love can overcome any differences in a family? Share your honest opinion with us. If this story made you reflect on the true meaning of family, don't forget to leave your like and especially subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other stories that speak straight to the heart.